Baltimore, they were destroyed. Raiders, they were manhandled. This weekend, they play Tennessee, and it is a precursor to the playoffs because Tennessee is the kind of team, the new GM in Cleveland and the new coach in Cleveland, they need to beat going forward. Tennessee is a very good team, but like every team in the playoffs except Kansas City, they're flawed. And the flaw is perfect for Baker Mayfield. They have no pass rush, and Tennessee's a terrible third down defense, meaning Baker's going to be comfortable. Cleveland will be able to run the football. Baker has to compete this weekend. He could lose in overtime. He could lose close. But if Baker Mayfield can't compete this weekend, what it's telling you is against the Pittsburghs and the Baltimores and the Tennessees and the Raiders, playoff-level teams, even with all this talent in Cleveland, even when the matchup is perfect, Titans really match up. This is a good matchup for Cleveland because Tennessee's got no pass rush and Baker is bad with pass rushes, and they don't have one. 29th most sacks in the league. They got no pass rush, so Baker's going to sit in that pocket and be comfortable. And in fact, Ryan Tannehill will be more uncomfortable in the pocket because Myles Garrett's back for Cleveland and Tennessee's O-line's a little banged up. So this is going to be, and remember, if Cleveland wins this week, then they're going to be 9-3, probably a 2-game wild card lead. It is a huge, this is the biggest Cleveland Brown game. It almost secures a playoff spot for Cleveland. This is the weekend. And the matchup, Tennessee is, everybody now loves Tennessee, but they're a very flawed football team. And the flaws work perfectly for Baker. He's going to have time to throw and a running game that works. They will make a decision privately on that flight back or somewhere during the week. If Baker gets rolled like he did against Pittsburgh or Baltimore or manhandled defensively like against the Raiders, they're moving off him. Greg Cosell earlier this week talked about the similarities with the Titans and the Browns. They're mirror images of each other. That's why Baker better be able to compete this weekend.
Baker Mayfield is still struggling. He's very inconsistent. You can see he plays very fast. There's a frenetic movement to him. But then he'll also make 2 or 3 throws a game that remind us all why he was the number 1 pick when he came out of Oklahoma.
So Buffalo is 8-3, but nobody questions, is the quarterback good enough? Cleveland is 8-3, and it is the question. Is the quarterback a liability? Baker, this weekend, shut me up. Shut America up. Shut your critics up. Attack Tennessee. You don't even have to beat Tennessee, but you better be around with 3 minutes to play. This is your career. This is it. No chatter, no talk, no commercials. This is it. These are the games. Tennessee, a precursor to the playoffs. This will be like a playoff game before the playoffs. By the way, here's just to throw this out. I wrote this down. I forgot this. We were talking about James Harden. And again, I like scoring, but it can't just be scoring. In the last 5 decades in the NBA, you know how many scoring champions have won a title? Shaq once, and then MJ a few times. That's it. So again, I'm not banging on scoring, but I'm saying you can't just be a scorer.
Yeah, I would also say MJ played a significant amount of defense, and Shaq was a problem on the other end as well. So
right. You got to do more than just score. I'm not anti-score, but you got to do more than score. Coming up this weekend, there is a game that shouldn't, frankly, be that close. But actually, the better team is an underdog at home. The better team is an underdog at home. And it tells you all you need to know about the NFL and a move that underdog needs to make. That's coming up. Ever wonder just how far an extra mile goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. They have a network, Mercedes does, of 250 authorized dealerships backed by a sales force that is absolutely second to none. There's all sorts of vans. There's the durable Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van or versatile Mercedes-Benz Metris van, each tailored for your job or your lifestyle. They have cutting-edge options in those vans. like blind spot assist with rear cross traffic alert, active lane keeping assist, hotspot Wi-Fi, all this stuff. Also, MBUX voice command technology for directions, weather, and forecasts. So, whatever lifestyle it is that you lead, go to Mercedes-Benz. Check them out right now. The first step, going to an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership and go for a test drive today. Mercedes-Benz vans. Some equipment described is optional.
Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Sam Darnold will likely be heading out of New York this season. After this season,
Yeah.
He's not lived up to the expectations the Jets had for him. Was the third overall pick in 2018, but Adam Gase is taking some of the blame for his development.
Oh.
I came here to help him develop his career, and we haven't been able to do that. We need to do things well, around him, but at the same time, it's on me to get him to play better than what he's played. And right so far, I haven't done a good enough job.
Sam Darnold hasn't thrown a passing touchdown in his past 142 attempts, which is the longest active streak in the NFL.
That's not great.
If he doesn't throw for a touchdown within his first 8 attempts on Sunday, he'll be the only player in the last 5 seasons to go 150 straight attempts without a touchdown.
And he has regressed badly this year, so it's either Darnold, which is possible, or it's the surrounding elements of the Jets, which I think is more probable.
I think it's a mixture of a lot of things.
Yes.
He has been hurt a lot. It's not like Sam's been perfect, and he's in a situation that's just a disaster. Obviously, they don't have the players, or they wouldn't be in this situation. He doesn't play both sides of the ball, so it's not like they have this amazing defense who's able to keep them in games and the offense is blowing it. Like, they're not a great team. They're the worst team in the NFL by far, and we know that.
He's also very reckless, though. Some of these injuries are on Sam.
He's very reckless. They don't have a running game. He holds onto the ball too long. He puts his body in bad situations. And Adam Gase has clearly lost the locker room. You can tell by the way that they play, the ridiculous amount of penalties. They're just completely undisciplined. It's a disaster in New York. Yeah. So I think it's similar to what's going on in Philly. Obviously, it's not the same level of disaster in Philadelphia as it is in New York. But I just think there's a mixture of a lot of things that are all playing into losses.
And also, Trevor Lawrence is going to be the beneficiary here because they appear to have a real general manager. They're going to get a pick for Sam Darnold in a trade. They got a ton of picks for the Jamal Adams trade, and the Jets draft was good last year. The good players are playing. So Trevor Lawrence is going to come into a much better situation, and because he's such a great prospect, he's going to attract more coaches. So Trevor's already better than Sam, but the next quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, it's a much better position to succeed than Darnold. And he's better than Darnold. But I think Sam's going to go to a team like the Colts or perhaps a backup to the Steelers, which I don't think is a terrible spot for him either for 2 years to kind of reboot his career.
I think he's going to end up in a great situation because there are some teams who are not going to be able to get a high draft pick who need someone like Sam Darnold, who obviously has the potential but needs to be in the right situation to see if he can level up to that. Now, if he gets a year and he can't do that, then maybe we're all wrong about him. Yeah. But I think if he goes to a more functional situation with better players around him, he will be able to succeed, and he will likely end up, if he ends up with the Colts, it's an amazing situation for him. Yeah. Even if Phillip Rivers plays another year and he has to sit behind him.
Yeah.
That's a Bye.